For the past decade, all eyes have been on China's Mammoth Belt and Road Initiative, the trading network transforming our world by connecting East and West. But what if there was an equally ambitious project in the works, covertly developed to challenge China's dominance? Sources reveal the US and EU have quietly spent the last 10 years planning an infrastructure undertaking to rival the BRI. Codenamed the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, or IMEC for short, it promises to reshape global trade routes. Trillions in infrastructure investment will circumnavigate regions via rail, road, ports, and pipelines, weaving an interdependent web of commerce. While China boldly announced its BRI vision, IMEC stealthily took shape in back rooms. Now, as emerging details leak, it's clear this covert contender has been engineered to unseat BRI as the primary trade corridor between increasingly key regions. With completion accelerating, 2023 may see the unveiling of a new global superhighway that delivers both economic opportunities and major geopolitical ramifications. The new great game is on. Who will win the race to redraw 21st century trade lanes? One thing is clear, the BRI versus IMEC showdown will shake the foundations of globalization for decades to come. But a curious discovery has raised eyebrows. When poring over maps, one pivotal nation is glaringly missing from the planned pathway. Turkey, the geographic linchpin connecting these three continents, does not feature in the corridor's road or railway routes. Could geopolitics be at play here? As tensions rise over this apparent snub of a key regional player, big questions emerge. Why bypass Turkey, the natural land bridge between Europe, the Middle East, and Asia? What is the true motivation behind this controversial corridor plan? And could Turkey's opposition threaten to derail what could become one of the biggest infrastructure undertakings of the 21st century? Let's break down this major struggle in Asia for control over the future of trade in this volatile region. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen unveiled an ambitious plan to establish an economic passage connecting India, the Middle East, and Europe at the G20 summit held in New Delhi last September. US President Joe Biden described the initiative as a game-changing investment that would be a really big deal for global trade. But before we dive deeper into details and drama surrounding this project, let's take a second to grasp the sheer size of this proposed project. Backed by economic powerhouses representing nearly 2/3 of the world's population and over 75% of global trade, IMEC aims to optimize trade connectivity between Asia, Europe, and beyond. As the European Commission president noted, the corridor could reduce transport costs by almost 40% compared to current networks. With participating nations encompassing close to half of $47 trillion in worldwide GDP, IMEC links a massive 2.25 billion strong consumer market. Its integrated multimodal infrastructure promises to spur regional economic integration and new trade flows for all involved. By creating accessibility between financial hubs along the route, IMEC could attract capital and investment to emerging markets within its scope. Truly, the project harnesses colossal collective economic might across its three continents. If realized, its boost to improved connectivity, reduced costs, and strengthened financial linkages portend tremendous opportunities for both regional growth and the global economy overall. The ambitions of IMEC are as vast as its economic scale. Dubbed the India-Middle East-Europe Corridor, IMEC, the visionary project envisions an eastern corridor linking India with Gulf nations including the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Israel. A parallel northern corridor is also proposed to connect the same Middle Eastern countries to Europe via rail networks and shipping routes. The goal of this mega-project is to provide vital trade through energy infrastructure, railroads, high-speed cables, and shipping lanes, and fostering deeper commercial and investment ties between these important economic regions. Once operational, IMEC aims to catalyze greater flows of goods, services, capital, and people across an integrated multi-continental marketplace, stretching from the Indian subcontinent to the European mainland. The ambitious IMEC project has the potential to accelerate India-Europe trade flows by a massive 40% according to analysts. Significantly, it could also help establish firmer commercial and diplomatic ties between Israel and Gulf Arab nations, a key strategic priority of the Biden White House. Speaking of India, the IMEC could be a game-changer, given that it's not a part of China's BRI. As a member of IMEC, India stands to reap tremendous strategic and economic rewards. IMEC provides an alternative for New Delhi to counter Beijing's expanding regional influence. Crucially, IMEC offers a more transparent framework for India to enhance infrastructure, connectivity, and trade. Alongside China, India's huge population ensures it will be a driving force shaping IMEC's future trajectory. For Modi's manufacturing-focused vision, IMEC could reduce EU trade times by 40%, boosting efficiency. Geopolitically, IMEC demonstrates India's value as a key U.S. partner, cementing strategic bonds amid ongoing Sino-American tensions. As Washington levies economic sanctions, IMEC allows India to forge new trade deals and technological ties with the U.S. This strengthens India's hand against China on the global stage. Overall, IMEC attains Modi's goal of projecting India as a leading connectivity hub. It provides a springboard for New Delhi to also counter BRI expansionism and bolster national interests within Eurasia's evolving economic architecture. By constructing an alternative connectivity network spanning the Indian subcontinent, Middle East, and Europe, the initiative seeks to provide a counterweight to China's sprawling Belt and Road Initiative. For many developing countries struggling with economic woes, the BRI has significantly boosted Beijing's influence through major infrastructure investments. Once realized, the new trade artery will be a landmark development reshaping trade, investment, and political landscapes, given that the BRI currently gives sizable power-struggling economies in Africa and Latin America. Spanning countries representing a massive 40% of the global population and nearly half of worldwide GDP, IMEC will strategically interconnect some of the most economically dynamic nations on Earth. Crucial to its success will be Gulf heavyweights like the UAE and Saudi Arabia, which boast leading seaports, highways, and logistical infrastructure primed to serve as pivotal junctions along the new transit artery. While the ambitious IMEC framework was unveiled to international fanfare, Turkey reacted coolly, opposing the initiative from the outset. Since regional powers aimed to deal to pursue the India-Middle East trade artery at September's G20 summit, Ankara has been locked in intensive behind-the-scenes negotiations with allies to salvage its interests. For decades, Turkey has cemented its role as the primary overland transit hub linking the export of Asian commodities to European markets. However, IMEC's planned integration of alternate sea and rail routes now jeopardizes Turkey's traditional transport preeminence. With the projected shipping lanes and logistical arteries envisaged under IMEC set to reroute commodity flows, Ankara has scrambled to solidify support for its own competing vision to retain influence over Eurasian connectivity. Turkey is leaving nothing to chance as it fights to preserve its dominance over a strategic trade corridor that has long underpinned its geoeconomic clout. According to Carolina Pinto of Global Data, Turkey has long managed to skillfully navigate pressure from major powers on the global stage through a deft balancing act. However, analysts say Ankara's latest divergence from its EU accession path suggests its day of playing East against West may be coming to an end. Turkish officials argue their opposition to IMEC runs deeper than the Sino-Western geopolitical competition. A senior official told Frontline the proposal poses sovereignty concerns, as the proposed Haifa-Piraeus sea route cuts through waters subject to ongoing Turkish-Greek disputes over territorial boundaries and economic rights. Echoing doubts India voiced about China's BRI passing through the disputed Kashmir region, the officials stressed the need to respect territorial integrity. As Turkey finds itself increasingly torn between its traditional Western allies pursuing IMEC and its emerging Eurasian partners, its high-wire diplomatic dance faces perhaps the ultimate test in navigating this pivotal juncture over continental connectivity. With much at stake, all eyes are on whether Turkey can preserve its strategic autonomy. In addition, he said, no one can encircle Turkey, which has the longest coastline in the Mediterranean. We are determined to defend the maritime rights of our citizens and the people of the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. This is not the first instance where the EU has sought new transit options, opting not to utilize key Turkish infrastructure. In 2023, a proposal emerged to transport Israeli and potentially Cypriot gas to Europe, circumventing Turkey. However, that project ultimately failed to materialize due to commercial and environmental feasibility doubts. As with past initiatives, IMEC backers face challenges turning their vision into reality. Turkey's objections echo similar sovereignty concerns that have derailed prior EU connectivity schemes. While the ambitious scope of IMEC is aimed at reducing dependence on Sinosphere economic leverage, questions linger over its financial and technical viability at this scale. Several factors could potentially explain Turkey's non-inclusion in the ambitious IMEC framework. Its fraught ties with the United States stemming from the Syrian conflict may be one reason for the exclusion. Turkey's drawn-out EU accession process and rejected proposals have equally soured relations with Brussels in recent years. As a result, pre-existing political tensions could have impacted IMEC planning. Given Turkey's growing collaboration with China's BRI initiative, its involvement may also have been viewed as complicating efforts to establish an alternative trade corridor. As infrastructure connections are geopolitical as much as economic, this factor may have come into consideration. Facing being cut out of a potential Asia-Europe transport backbone, Turkey introduced its own Iraq Development Road scheme, with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan insisting intensive negotiations were underway with Iraq, Qatar, and the UAE about a project that would be forged within the next few months. This project would build a railroad and roadway connecting the Gulf area to Turkey and Europe via ports in the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Iraq. The project proposes spending $17 billion to build a high-speed train line and a 1,200-kilometer highway. Underscoring its commitment to maintaining influence over Eurasian transit routes, Turkey announced a $25 billion investment in its proposed Iraq Development Road on October 20th. The project aims to slash East Asia to Northern Europe cargo transit times by 15 days compared to existing networks. Plans also include enabling Gulf energy exports via new pipelines along the developing corridor. At a September logistics forum in Istanbul, transport leader Alper Özel issued a stark warning, citing the abandonment of the Silk Road as a factor in the Ottoman Empire's decline once the Suez Canal opened. Echoing China's vision, Özel advocated expanding connectivity along the so-called Middle Corridor, traversing Turkic states from China to Europe. Though not naming rivals directly, the message was clear: Turkey must act urgently to counter emerging alternatives like IMEC threatening its dominance. As regional powers pursue their own infrastructure-driven economic ambitions, Turkey is leaving nothing to chance in demonstrations like the Iraq Development Road. Its bid to preserve influence over the arteries of Eurasian trade faces a crucial test against emboldened challengers reshaping the connective tissue of globalization. The Middle East is indeed a strategically important yet politically complicated region. Turkey's unique position bridging Europe and Asia makes it a vital regional player. While Turkey's exclusion may enable IMEC supporters to advance free from tensions, completely sidelining such a keystone country risks undermining the project's viability long-term. Regional buy-in and cooperation will be key to IMEC's success. Turkey raising valid commercial and sovereignty concerns about prior EU plans gives credence to its fears of being encircled. However, an approach portraying IMEC as a zero-sum threat may close doors unnecessarily. Do you support excluding Turkey from the IMEC? Or do you support the claims of Turkey's government that this project will fail and face the same destiny that the project with the same design faced before? Also, do you think that Turkey has the right to oppose not being included in the IMEC and that its government's fears of being encircled are justified? We cannot wait to hear your opinion in the comments.